This video is a bit more personal in nature, to be honest. It's about an epiphany that's, I want to say, growing inside of me, or I have the image of a boiling pot and it's starting to boil within me. And I have to admit that my view on twin flames has shifted over the time. And I do have this video on divine counterparts. I still stand by that, on how we are created and how a twin flame is created. But the more I learned about manifesting and the term everyone is you pushed out, that kind of killed some of the twin flame myth for me. First of all, the more I got into metaphysics, I understood that there is no past lives because there is only a now. It's like everything already has been programmed, and in every dimension, timeline, universe, in this multiverse, however you want to call it, it's just terminology, it has been created a little bit different. But there is only the now moment. So if there only is the now moment, and there is not really a past and a future, then there is no past lives. What is that stream of consciousnesses or souls have experienced a different timeline, where there was what we as humans would say a different time, a different decade, a different year, a different millennium even. But it is all happening in the now. So if it is happening in the now, even 500 years ago is happening in the now, it is not past. So what is, and I think it actually is both things simultaneously, is that another stream of consciousness in the right now is experiencing the 1500th century. But when we do meditations, and I am a hypnotherapist and I have done past life regressions with people, and I have peeked into, let's say, past lives in quotation marks as well, what happens is that you connect to another stream of consciousness that is having that specific experience, and you connect with that specific stream of consciousness because something in that stream of consciousness or the soul's vibration is a match to yours, and you can draw out informations from that show you something about your own experience because of the similarity of frequency. But then we can also say the split, the separation basically is an illusion. We are all connected. Neil Donald Walsh said, and also what I have been getting as a download in my 20s, is that basically there is only one soul. And if we tackle it like this, then yes, every other soul on this planet living in the now is you, but also every soul that has ever lived and will ever live is you. So yeah, you could say it is a past life of you, but it's a past life of everyone because we are all one, we are all connected. There is no separation. We all come from the divine source, from the same source, and we just have this experience, and awakening is to realize that we are not separated. So that was debunked myth number one. You have had many past lives with your twin flame. No, there is no past lives. There is other stream of consciousnesses that have felt this template, I want to say. It's a template of love, and they have made that same experience. Also, I know what I just said, past lives. That also includes, of course, there cannot be starseeds, having past lives on other planets. It's just a specific energy you tap into, because we are tapped into different kind of archetypes. There's astrology, and I am a Virgo sun, so I am connected to Virgo sun energy. I am an Aqua moon, and I feel my moon even stronger than my sun sign, so I'm connected to that energy. I only have one personal planet in Scorpio. It's Mars in Scorpio, and some generational planets, also Eris. So I do have asteroids in Scorpio as well, but the South Node in the 8th house and a trine between Moon and Pluto. So I feel strongly connected to Scorpio energy as well. Then I do have a totem. My totem is a snake, it's a boa constrictor. So I feel connected to the archetype of that specific totem. Then I do have a variety of power animals that I feel connected to, so I can tap into that specific kind of energy. Then there is the, maybe you've heard it, the 16 personality test, and I am the INFP, so I am connected to the INFP templates archetype. And that of course means there's also different, what we can say, starseed archetypes, and people are connected to that specific frequency. Does not mean that they are that, it's a connection they have, but that should be a different video. Nevertheless, what is a twin flame? I do see it as a template in the multiverse. Again, there's different timelines. You exist in an infinite time number of versions, whatever you want to call it. There is timelines where you have never been born because your parents never met. And there's timelines where you may have died as a kid, or, you know, that I always use as an example, you know, that one time you almost choked on something. Well, in one timeline you didn't survive that specific experience, but you're still here, and in your now moment, in this timeline, you're having a specific experience. There is timelines where you've never drawn in your divine counterpart because you still had too many shadows that would never be able to draw in the experience, because time already has been created. Everything, creation is finished, as Neville Goddard said. And then there is this specific person. And also when I say twin flame, there seem to be different twin flame, and I use twin flame in quotation marks right now, templates. There is some people who still are very much connected to their shadows, and maybe they have never been loved, and then they hear about twin flames and they want to connect to that energy, and they just, you know, there used to be the term soulmates that was in there. I like finding your soulmate, that is rare. And now people realize there is another template called twin flame, and that seems to be even bigger and better, which is not true, which is different. It's a different journey, but true love is true love, and your true love can come in many different forms. And I'm talking about romantic love. Of course, it can come in even more different forms, in relatives, in your pets, in your friends, you know, love for nature. Love has many different faces. Now people are longing for a twin flame because they put that specific energy or template on a pedestal. And yes, it's amazing. I mean, I'm living the twin flame experience as well, so I get it. It is the most intense I've ever felt. But then you have karmic connections, and they feel greatly intense. And then when you develop, you draw in something else, and it feels even more greater. I mean, not every person feels greater than the one before. I've experienced that as well. I would have said that I had 3 very close soul connections romantically in my life, and a couple of other times that I've been in love, but those 3 stood out, and they were not one after the other. There have been 2 guys in between where I felt a connection, but it was not as strong as to the first very close soulmate that I now would call a soul twin. And I do have a playlist with my own journey if you're interested in that, because I had 2 catalysts that helped me evolve and develop and get ready for the real twin flame. So it's a template that people falsely label someone a twin flame just because they crave for a strong connection, but they still have a lot of shadows and are not ready to live that. So that is one big template. And I would say it's probably 90% out of people who think they have found their twin flame. Just talking from experience as a coach and what I do read in Facebook groups. And okay, given those people who are with their twin flame may not be as active in those groups, and by active I mean seeking advice, they're rather the ones giving it. But that is one template. Then I do differentiate between other kind of soul connection, you know, the soul twins, the mirror twins. Also a divine counterpart connection, a mirror twin can be a divine counterpart connection, but it's a different journey. A soul twin is completely different from a twin flame. A soulmate, again, is a different thing. That is why I do differentiate. But it's a template, it's an experience. It is not so much the person, it is more what your soul or your higher self chose. Again, there are timelines where your true love may be a soulmate, and then there is a timeline where a spark of you said, no, I want to go on this journey, I want to ascend more. And then you get another kind of divine counterpart, which does not mean that the soulmate is less. It's just not maybe as connected to the spiritual journey as other divine counterparts may be. Soul twins are not deeply connected to the spiritual journey, even though a little bit. There's just different journeys. And the twin flame, it is a template, it is an energy where you meet someone, you look them in the eye, you probably felt something coming before you've met them and you didn't know what it is. I'm talking about people who met their true twin flame, so you know if you have experienced that, right? You felt something big coming. You were not looking for a person, they just came into your life and everything changed. And maybe some of you have been, like myself, on a catalyst journey that already brought you a lot of healing and taught you to step into your self-love more. And that was what attracted the different experience, the other guy, into your life, the, let's say, real twin flame. So you've met this person, upon first meeting you clicked, you knew we belonged together, and then another kind of journey started. That was not as much about the awakening like the split twin flame would be. That was my catalyst. For not every person, the split twin is just a catalyst. For some, that is the end goal because they don't have a monadic twin flame. It's not in, maybe in some timelines they do, if they can imagine that, yes, but they're not anywhere near that, and maybe they never get there because they don't choose to have that great ascension. So the split twin flame journey is more for the awakening, for the healing and dealing with your childhood issues and all of that. And the monadic twin flame is very much about ascension, about learning higher knowledge, just call it, and integrating that. Yeah, that's my experience. And you feel that person with you always. But what I just am realizing, that has nothing to do just with twin flame. I believe it has something more to do with where you are and, again, what template you chose. Because what you're feeling is basically not the other person. What you are feeling is your own inner divine feminine or masculine energy, depending on what energy the other person is. You may be the divine feminine, and that's another myth debunked. The other person is a holograph, you could say, a representation of your own inner masculine. So feeling the other person, which is not only unique to twin flames. I've had that, with the split twin flame, my catalyst, I always felt him very intensely, and he acknowledged that. He said, well, I believe you know me better than anyone else. You know me better than my mom. Another time he said the same thing. He said, I think you know me better than I know myself. That was telepathy. I knew what was going on in his life without being there, and then of course that turned out to be true later on. So we do have this connection. However, the person you are dealing with is a vessel where you project your own inner divine feminine or masculine onto. And it's a vessel you chose, maybe prior to incarnation. I do believe that, because if that specific person awakens that journey within you, and remember, time is an illusion, creation is finished, then that has already been created. And with that, multiple timers have been created. Those where you don't do your work and you just stay stuck and you never get together. Those where you focus too much on your person instead of on your own journey and you don't get together, or you need decades to get together. And then that timeline where you really dig in and you manifest them by doing your shadow work. And then of course a lot of that in between. So it's all on you. The other person is just a projection of your own inner feminine or masculine. If your image of, let's say you're divine feminine, if your image of masculinity is distorted, that's what you're going to attract. And how does your image get distorted? Well, childhood probably. You observe the people around you. And by the way, your childhood has been chosen by you. Again, creation is finished. There's different timelines. One where you had the happy childhood, one where you didn't, and a lot of that in between. You chose consciously, your soul chose which of those experiences to use as a starting point, because usually people who have a great spiritual awakening, not 100%, but most of them, have had a rough childhood. Because, as Abraham Hicks would say, it's contrast. You experience something that is far from what you want to experience later, to awaken that desire. And I was saying that earlier, those who have not experienced love form the desire of finding great love. And those people then have the tendency to either falsely labeling someone a twin flame if they have not dealt with their issues, or they deal with their issues and then can attract a real divine counterpart, really depending on their own maturity. When I say attracting, I actually kind of more mean like slipping into the timeline where that already has been. If you need help on your journey, you can reach out. My contact information is below. And I see you in another. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share. If you think this video is helpful, share it to other twin flames, because that can raise the frequency of the twin flame collective, and that's what we want, right? Because we are all connected. Everyone is you pushed out, not just your twin flame. Everyone is you pushed out. And when you create a more harmonious surrounding around yourself, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? If you need more help, if this video helped you a lot, you want to leave a little tip, then you will find my PayPal link below. Also, if you need a little help and you want a personal coaching, you can reach out to me or watch my other content, and I see you there in my other content or a personal coaching. Until then, I do wish you all the best now. Bye bye.